I'm Kayla Crochet Love, and welcome to episode number 8. While I have you here, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do so, please. And also you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Ravelry, all at Kayla Crochet Love, and as usual, I will link that all down below. So how's everyone been? It's been, I think, 2 weeks since I came out with my last episode. And I've had a I didn't realize how much of a productive couple weeks I've had with my crochet and my knitting. Not so much knitting, but more crocheting. I have quite a few finished objects to show you. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen most of them, I believe. Yeah, most of them. I'm just gonna, my camera, I don't know if my camera's a little tilted. I'm sorry if I'm a little crooked, but that's how it's gonna be. And I've been really pretty good about not buying yarn. I did buy a couple things, but I will explain that later. So I guess I'll get started on finished objects. First is my shawl here, and it is a knit shawl. And I showed you the beginnings of this in my last episode. I think I had a little bit done, probably from like this much maybe. Well, I managed to finish it. I really enjoyed this one. It was really easy, since I haven't been knitting for very long. It's pretty easy. So it starts at one end and it goes to the other. So this is a free pattern on redheart.com. I cannot remember the name of the pattern. And Marley Bird also has a tutorial for it. I'll link it all down below in case you're interested. It is, like I said, it is knitting, but it's very beginner friendly. And I really got into it because I really wanted to finish it, because I told myself I wasn't going to start anything else till I finished this, and I did. So this and then one of my other finished projects. So for this one I used Malabrigo, which is the colorful variegated here, and I also used Estelle worsted. I'm not sure on the color of the Malabrigo. I have another one around here. I actually bought 2 skeins of each color. So 2 skeins of the variegated and 2 skeins of the brown, because I thought I was going to need a lot more. Excuse me. But I ended up having a little bit left over of each skein. Like, not a lot, like maybe a little ball like that big. But I was like, oh, that's cool. So I might make a matching hat. Maybe a knit hat. Probably a knit hat, so that it's more like a set. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I finished it, I think, on Monday, and then I blocked it, and I've been wearing it since Tuesday. So, well, as much as I could when I wasn't working and whatnot. So I really like it, and it's so soft. The Malabrigo and the Estelle are very soft. Sorry, I need a drink. It's been dry here. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a picture I posted today of how much snow we got. I couldn't get over it. I woke up and on our railing outside, there's at least this much snow piled up on the railing. And it was still snowing. So I had went out shortly after I took that picture to clean off my mom's car and my car, because I had yarn social today, and my mom was going to drive me because my husband was going to pick me up after work. But my dad ended up coming home early, and he has a big truck, so he ended up driving us, and probably shouldn't have left the house today because it was not very nice at all. We made it to our town where my local, well not our town, but the closest town to where my favorite local yarn store is. And my parents dropped me off and they had some errands to run. So I ended up going into a Tim Hortons and having some lunch, and Yarn Social didn't start for about an hour after that, so I decided I would go to the bank, do some errands. The bank was closed. There was one store I went to that was down the street. So where the local yarn store is, it's like, we call it like the main street. That's not the name of it, but there's a bunch of little local shops there, and I always love to look in those shops. So since the bank was closed, I couldn't do what I needed to do there. So I went to one of the shops down the street, and this was at about 12:30, quarter to 1. She said I was the first person to get there. I think they opened at 9 o'clock. She said I was their first customer today, which surprised me. Although it didn't actually, because the weather really wasn't very nice at all. But I bought some lotion. If you see me smell my hands, I bought this lotion and it smells like frosting. It's so nice and it feels so nice because it's been, like I said, it's cold and gross outside, but it's so dry in the house, and my hands get so cracked and stuff, especially when I'm crocheting and knitting. So yeah, but a lot of those stores ended up closing early today, and it was just so cold. I tried walking down the street, or down the strip there, to do some shopping. I had my shawl, I had a hat, and I had my coat pulled up to here, and right here froze. So I was like, you know what, not worth it. I'll go sit in the coffee shop and wait for my husband. So yeah, that's the weather here. So I think that might be why I've gotten so much crochet accomplished, because it's just been so cold and snowy for the past week and a half that there hasn't really been much else to do. So I've been doing a lot of crocheting, which is, I'm happy. I managed to get a lot of stuff done. So I will keep showing you guys. Sorry about my little rant about the weather, but like the fact that so many stores had to close today was crazy. And on the way home, one of the main roads to get home was closed, so we had to take a detour. Although we probably would have anyways, so yeah. Anyway, this finished project number 1. I also made this one here. So I had some leftover scarfie from Christmas. I had made my aunt a cowl. So I decided I wanted to try and design my own cowl. And this is it here. I'll put it on for you guys. It looks better when I'm wearing it. So this is a bandana cowl. And it's really simple to make. Okay, so it just fits like this, and again, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this. I'm very active on Instagram, so if you like to see things beforehand, go ahead and follow me there. I try to do it on Facebook too, but I kind of lose track of that, so but yeah. So this is my bandana cowl. So it's not like a shawl where you have to wrap it around. It just slides over your head, and it's connected at the back. And then, so you could put the ribbing up if you wanted to, but I like it folded down. So, I had made this just for fun off the top of my head, and I wore it to my crochet class that I was teaching last weekend. No, sorry, the weekend before last. And they were saying how much they liked it, and if I felt it was beginner-friendly pattern, which I figured it was. Like, I wouldn't consider I'm not a beginner, I'm probably an intermediate crocheter. But I thought this up off the top of my head, and it took me an hour or two to do it. But again, I was using a thicker yarn. So a lot of them wanted to make this, so I had to write up a pattern. And I actually made a little sample as I was writing it up. So it's just a mini version of the big one. And this is using worsted weight, whereas this is a bulky. a bulky, so that's what Scarfy is, I believe. So I wrote it up just so I could write up the pattern. I tried posting it to Ravelry. I'll have to go and check if it worked or not, because I don't think it did. I don't really post to Ravelry. I tend to use it to find patterns. So I will find out if it worked or not. Although there was a typo, so I have to fix that anyway. But I'll let you guys know. Because, yeah, I'm not sure how that works yet. But I'll figure it out. But anyway, so a bunch of my students were wanting to make it. So I brought in the pattern that I wrote up last week. And I think I had one that started it for sure. A couple of the ladies were still not comfortable making the stitches, like the double crochets and stuff, so we were just working on that, which I was totally fine with. One woman is left-handed, so that was a learning experience because I've never taught left-handed before, but we were making it work. And she actually finished her first project, I'm pretty sure, which was a headband. So I was very impressed. And then one of my other students wanted the pattern, so I gave it to her. I'll probably give it to all of them just so they have it in their collection. If they're like me, I collect patterns. Half of them I don't use, but I collect them anyway. So yeah, there's my little sample and my big bandana cowl. Again, super simple. And I think you could make it with any weight from a DK to a chunky or bulky. So that's why I wrote the pattern for worsted. Because that's what a lot of my students had already, so I figured it'd just be easier. So there's that. While I'm talking about my class, it's a little chilly. Let me put this back on. I made up another sample. One of my students had seen my shawl that I made with the shawl in a ball on my last episode. It was another pattern I wrote up. It's like a corner to corner shawl that I just did corner to corner, but I used treble crochets, but she wanted to learn that. So I was trying to write up a pattern, but they don't know how to treble crochet yet. And I know this particular student was having trouble holding the yarn, so I decided to do it in double crochets instead. So I have a little, like another little sample here that I did up just so I could write down the pattern. So obviously this isn't a shawl, although you could probably wear it as like a boomerang shawl kind of thing, like which I might do. I'll put a button or something and then you could tie it up at the back. So I did up another sample of that. But although I think it's really easy, I think for a beginner it might be a little confusing. So I told her I would still give her the pattern, which I haven't typed up yet, which I probably should. But I would recommend it more. I'd probably recommend the other one, the cowl there I made, because you could easily take this part, like ignore the cowl part, take this part, and just keep building it into a big shawl, which one of my students did do, and her shawl turned out amazing. Again, pictures on my Instagram. It turned out so beautiful. So we'll see though. I'll work with her and we'll figure it out. I'm not too concerned. So, but yeah, so that's what that is. That was another thing I did. There's that. I'm saving the best for last. Well, not that the other ones aren't good, but there's a reason that I'm saving the other one for last. So, one thing I managed to do was pull out one of my whips that I had set aside for a long time. I think it was in the bag for about a year. So I pulled it out last night, Wednesday, and I finished it. And a little more. So I It's the, I think it's 12-point star blanket. I can't remember where I learned it. I think it was the Crochet Crowd, but I can't remember because it's been sitting there for so long. So this is it. It's a baby blanket, so it's more for like a stroller or something. It's not very big, but I'm happy with it. It's a little bit wrinkly too, but there's that. And for that, I was using Bernat Pop. I can't remember the name because I threw out all the bands. But I'm happy with it. I'm happy I'm done. So that I'm going to gift to someone. And I had a little bit of yarn left over. So seeing as this is a baby blanket, I decided to make a little hat. I don't know if it'll fit a baby. I used the measurements and everything, but we'll have to wait and see. So again, this one I just thought up the top of my head. I did double crochets, and then I did half double through the third loop to make that look there, which I think is really cool. I think it makes a really cool look. And then I just did a row of doubles and then some ribbing around the edge there. So it just kind of matches, it matches the blanket. So whoever I gift this to will be getting the hat too. So I used up all that yarn, so that was really, that made me happy because I'm slowly working through my yarn stash. So that'll have to be washed before I gift it anyways, so I should put it in here. Oh, I almost forgot about this one. So this is another one that had been sitting in my stash in my unfinished projects. So I decided to finish it. Again, I posted on Instagram first. So actually this was Llama Mama Kayla's idea, because I had made this star and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was thinking I would just fasten it off and use it as like a decoration or something. So she recommended making another side to it and turning it into a pillow. So that's what I did. So this was the first star, and this is just using baby yarn. I think it was a Mary Maxim yarn. And then I used a totally different color on the back. So this is just a gray. It's like a gray. There's like the faintest color of green, but I find with the bright colors on the front, you can't really see the bright colors on the back. Or the green on the back. And then I just put some little tassels on it, because that's fun. And it's been sitting on my couch because I think it looks really cute there. I was going to give it to maybe my nephew or something, but I like it. So thank you, Kayla, for that idea. You have also inspired me to do something else, which I will talk about in a couple minutes there when I get to it. So yeah, that's my squishy pillow. That sits on my couch. And I have to be careful because my dogs like to dig in the crocheted stuff I make. They like to dig and nest in them, so I have to make sure they don't catch that, because since it's baby yarn, it's pretty thin. I don't know, I feel like they might break it. So it sits on the back of my couch where my dogs sit on the cushions. So my next one, I'm so happy to be done this one, and it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. It is the Cuddle and Play Cow Blanket by Crochet Arcade that I had been talking about. How I wasn't loving working on it. Just because of the color changes and the thickness of the yarn. I wasn't loving it. But honestly, after I was about halfway done the blanket part, I was enjoying it more, because I was more familiar with the color changes. I knew how to handle my yarn better because I had yarn coming off of 5 skeins and or 5 bobbins, so I knew how to handle it better, so it went smoother. So I have it done. I had to fix it because I had to add different ribbons to it, but here it is. The ears are kind of floppy. So here's the front. So it's folded up. I tried to fold it real quick before I started. So I had to change, like I said, I had to change the ribbons. So let's sit back. So there's little dangly feet. It has a little tail. Its face. So in the pattern, I think she embroidered the eyes on. I'm not very good at that, so I just single crocheted little circles. And yeah, so then it just ties up at the bottom with some ribbon. And I'll undo it so you can see the whole blanket. And then the folding's a little confusing, but one thing, when you purchase the pattern, you also get folding instructions. So if you're gifting it to someone, you can send the folding instructions with them, which I think is awesome. An awesome idea. So it's a little bit flimsy right now. It's nice to lay it on the floor and you can really see. So, ook. That. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it's funny because I look at it now that I'm done and I think that when I was working on this blanket, I thought that it was going to be huge because of the weight, because I'm using a bulky yarn. I thought it was going to be huge. And it's not as big as I thought. It's still, I wouldn't necessarily make it for a newborn. Like, of course, you could gift it to them, but I wouldn't use it on a newborn because it is pretty heavy. But yeah, so I've washed it and everything, so it's all ready to go. And I sent my friend a picture and she loved it. So I just said I had to wash it, which I did, and change the ribbons, which I did. So now it's good to go whenever she's able to get it. So I am very happy with it. I definitely, like I said, I recommend this pattern. If you think it's cute, I will link it down below. Remember, it is a paid for pattern. I can't remember how much I spent. It wasn't much. It might have been $6, but the amount of detail that Crochet Arcade goes into is totally worth it. So I won't go into detail, obviously, it's not my pattern. So yeah, that's done. I'm so happy it's done, and I will probably never make it again. No, I won't say that. You know, I'd be tempted to make it in like worsted weight, and it could be like a little, like a snuggly blanket maybe. I might tackle that someday, but not anytime soon. And you can make it in solid colors too, which I might do that and make, because I remember being little, so I have two uncles that own farms. One's a dairy farmer and one raises for beef. Or he used to. I don't know if he does it anymore. But when I used to go over when I was little, some of my favorite calves were the all white calves. They were like pure white. So I'm thinking I might make one like that. Just maybe a smaller version kind of thing. I'll use worsted weight instead. But we'll see. I'm not going to decide that because I have too many projects on the go right now. So it's going to take me too long to fold this up. So I will just fold it like this and I will fold it back up later. Okay. And that is it for finished projects. Sorry, I need to take another drink. I'm so dry. I know I should probably have water, but I was too lazy. This was right there. Anyway, put that there. So if I'll move on to works in progress. These are my active works in progress. I actually don't have too many. I'm looking at my little pile on the floor over there because it's still there. I don't have very many that I need to, like some of them I have to frog. I think most of the ones sitting over there I have to frog. because I know I won't work on them. Other than that, I think I have one that's been sitting for a while that I have to finish, which I think I will make it for my grandmother, and I might give it, it might be a little warm for her, but because it's going to be a shrug, but her birthday's in May, and so is Mother's Day, so I'll try and have it done for then, which is, I mean, tomorrow's February 1st, so I'll talk about this one first. So this was before I wrote up the pattern for the rib collar cowl. I was writing up just the shawl pattern, which is basically the beginning of the cowl. Oh, I'm losing my stitches here. So I'm just gonna fix this. It's basically the beginning of it, and I don't want to lose it because I am going to finish this. Again, I was just kind of doing it to write up the pattern, make it work. So, and to use up some stash yarn. So, this is what I have so far. I really like the looks of pink and yellow together. It reminds me of lemonade. I guess because you can get yellow lemonade and pink lemonade. I don't know, but I like the looks of it. So, this one is Estelle worsted, and then this one, the pink. I have the label. Hang on a second. Sorry, I'm standing up. So the pink is one that I had got in like a surprise bag at a fiber festival last summer, and it's Barocco Ultra Alpaca. So it's 50% superfine alpaca and 50% Peruvian wool. So it's just that pink, and I had gotten 2 of those, and you actually got a pattern with it, but it was a knit pattern. And at the time I wasn't knitting at all. I could barely knit, so I think I threw the pattern out. I probably did. But anyways, I'm using it to make a shawl. I don't have much of the yellow left, so I'm going to have to get creative. This is all I have left. So I'll see what I can do, because I really don't want to have to buy more of the yellow unless... I do love the yellow color, but I don't want to have to buy more. So, it'll probably be more pink, but we'll see. So that's that. Super easy to do. And it works up really fast. So that's, and I had shown my student, so we were working on it like together, so I had started her on hers, or she started hers, but I was helping her and I was showing her how to do it on mine at the same time. It's my zigzag stitches bag. Love this bag. So I have 2 more. So this one's technically finished, but not. So it's like a half object kind of thing. Like, I will explain. So this is where Llama Mama Kayla comes in again. So she had mentioned, and I told her that I love this idea, I'm pretty sure. She had mentioned that, I guess at the beginning of the year, she was going to make a square a month in like coordinating colors for the season, for the month. So I can't remember about January, but February was like a variegated with pinks and reds, I think. And so she had a bunch of different colors, and I was like, I love that idea. It's a good way for me to get through some of my stash and whatnot, so I decided I would do it too. So this is the first square I made. This is just a modern granny square, and the yarn I used for this is the Barcelona Dulce. It's a bulky yarn, and I'm seeing if I can find the color. Oh. there's just a color number. I might just be missing it. But anyways, it's this one. So I had bought this to make my nephew a blanket, which I still have some. I'll probably still finish that. But when I saw the colors, it reminded me of like ice and snow, which especially here in Canada, we get a lot of ice and snow times. So I made this today, and it's 12 by 12. So I don't know if it'll be a big blanket, but I'm not really too picky, because I like just wrapping up in them. Most of the time I just have blankets over my feet, because that's what gets really cold. So this one's just the Modern Granny. And I know I made it a little late. I made it today, and today's January 31st. So the 1st of February is tomorrow. But what I'm hoping to do is, so I'll be doing like Llama Mama Kayla and putting, using different colors. But I'm also hoping to design different squares. And I'm not going to be picky about yarn weight. I wouldn't go any lighter than a DK, and I wouldn't go any heavier than a bulky, which is usually what I have in my stash anyway. So I'm hoping to design different squares. So I may post videos if you want to work along and make a square month with me. Obviously January's will be late. And I'm sorry, but I just kind of decided to actually do it today. I had been putting it off, and I was like, nah, maybe I won't. But today I decided I wanted to. So January's is super simple for that reason. And yeah, I'll post tutorials if I remember for each square. This one's super easy, but I'll do it anyways, just so you guys can tag along with me. And February's will be coming out soon too. But yeah, so I was pretty excited about that, because I am not one for making blankets. I have made blankets. I've made a few blankets. I always think that blankets are a good idea for me, and then I get bored. So I'm thinking, if I do one 12 by 12 square a month till December, including December, that I can get a nice blanket out of it, and that way I'm not committed to making a blanket or having it sit around, because I just thought of another one of my works in progress that's been sitting around for a while, and it's a blanket. So that's going to be one of my squares. So we'll see, but I'm hoping to share them with you guys. That way, not that I think my squares will be too creative, but it'll be I think it'll just be fun. Kind of like a crochet along, but I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, if I come up with a pattern, I like to share it with you guys anyways. Like the bandana cowl, I will hopefully post a tutorial for that too soon enough. I'm trying to think of when I work, but I'm not. This time of year is pretty slow for work anyways, so yeah, there's my square. And my other work in progress is in my other zigzag stitches bag. So my last episode I was talking about some yarn I had bought. I bought this green Estelle alpaca to go with my brown alpaca yarn that I got from my swap buddy, so I have left. And I was going to do a Tunisian crochet cowl. So I've done some Tunisian crochet, but not a whole lot in the past. I think I've made 2 things. Most of the time it's just playing around. I had tried Tunisian entrelac, which I still think is gorgeous, but I didn't have the patience for that. And I had started making the cowl. Actually, I have a piece of it. So I had started making the cowl. So this is just with the simple stitch. It's really hard to see because it's kind of holy. But turn it like that, you can see it a little better. So I had started it, and one thing with Tunisian is it curls up, and I was having that issue, and I attached the green, and I was wanting to do a different stitch, but the edges of the green just kept going like this. So I would rip it out, try again, and it wasn't working. And I wasn't at home at the time, I was actually at Yarn Social. So I decided to maybe not do Tunisian crochet, which is fine because I still love Tunisian crochet. I just gotta practice it more, that's it. So I ended up coming up with a different design using regular crochet. And I'm really liking it so far. I'm actually thinking I could probably get it done tonight. So this is my own design. Sorry, I'm just trying to stretch it. So it looks like this. So as per usual, the camera's not really doing it justice. So it has some ribbing here, and then it's just the spike stitch. So you do like one row of half double crochet and then a row of spike stitch in the opposite color. And then you just carry both your yarns through inside. And I'm really liking how it's looking. And I showed my mom and she's like, it's like mint chocolate chip ice cream, which is what I was going for. I'm going to call it my mint chip cowl. So, and this yarn's really nice. It's actually pretty heavy. It's a DK weight, but it feels pretty heavy. But I'm really liking it. It's pretty soft. And yeah. I might show a tutorial on this one too, if there's enough interest. But I just kind of came up with it last night after trying a bunch of different things. I think I frogged it probably about 5 times trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And that was after frogging the Tunisian crochet piece I had done. So, and this is something you could do with, I think you could do it with worsted weight or any weight yarn. So, yeah, I like it. I'm hoping to finish it tonight because I want to wear it. Actually, I gotta block it and then I'll wear it. But, yep, I was excited for that one. And I like working with the alpaca yarn. So that's it for works in progress. For active works in progress. Sorry, I keep hiccuping. I find I talk so fast and I get so excited to talk to you guys that it's like I'm breathing in too much air. And then I start hiccuping or I get like a bubble in my throat. So, I just gotta chill. So, oh yeah, okay. So, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. I think the weather's getting to me. That's it for works in progress. Acquisitions, I don't have many. I've been keeping very good to my yarn promise, like where I'm not allowed to buy any new yarn till I use new yarn. So in the past month I've bought, that's including today, I've bought 3 skeins. Not including for the cow blanket. I'm not counting that because that was for a specific project. I've bought 3 skeins, I'm pretty sure. Although, keep forgetting about this. I was watching the Yarn Joy podcast, and Terry had purchased some yarn from Mary Maxim, and I was curious, so I went online, and I think it was like a mystery box, so you don't really know what you're gonna get, but it was, I think, $40, and you get quite a bit of yarn. I think I remember her getting a lot of yarn. And I was talking to my mom about it, and I was like, why don't we buy one and we can split it. Split the cost, split the yarn, whatever. Maybe there's stuff that I won't like that she'll love. The only thing she's worried about is that we're both going to like the same yarn, which it's not a big deal. I mean, she likes it, then she likes it. I'm not picky about letting her have the nice yarn because I have a lot of yarn, but I just thought it'd be fun. I really like the whole surprise thing, so I may open it up for you guys, or with you guys. Maybe see if my mom will want to come on here, which I don't know if she will, but I can maybe encourage her to. But it's supposed to come tomorrow, but if the weather's as bad as it was today, I don't see that happening. So we'll wait and see. So that's coming. And then I also signed up for a 3-month subscription to, I think it's Leo and Roxy's Sock of the Month Club. I can't remember. I know it's through Leo and Roxy, which are Canadian yarn dyers. And they have really nice yarn. I'll link down to their website down below. I signed up for that, which I used my money I made from my crochet class to sign up for that. And I think it might have been $35 a month or something, which and it's not just yarn, you get other stuff too. I don't know if they send you a pattern, but I know you get like little notions and stuff, so I'm really excited. I signed up for that last week, but I won't get it till after February 15th. I'm pretty sure, so it's gonna be a long couple weeks. I say that, but it might go by fast. We'll see. But I will open that up with you guys. I will save that and I will open it up with you guys because I'm really excited about that. I'm excited for that one and the Mary Maxim one, so we'll see. But other than those things, I had bought my Estelle yarn, wherever I put it, and I bought some yarn today for another project I had in mind. Now this is one I've wanted to do for a while, probably about a week or two. And I find that now when I can't stop thinking about something I want to make, I should just make it. So that's what my cowl's turning into, that's what this one was, and that's what this one's gonna be. So Bag O' Day Crochet had posted a tutorial, I want to say last week or the week before, of a hat she made. And so the hat itself, I believe, was cotton. I think it was made with Lion Brand's Comfy Cotton, and then the ribbing kind of thing, it wasn't ribbing, but like the edge of the hat was made with Lion Brand Go for Faux. I haven't seen either of those in Ontario, and I really like getting as much yarn as I can get from my local yarn shop anyway. So I decided to see what she had that I might be able to make this hat out of, or a hat similar. I'm going to base it off of Crystal's pattern, but I might have to tweak it a bit because this is what I could find. So for the fur, I got this Knitting Fever Furred. So it's soft and realistic faux fur. And it's like this purpley, the camera's making it look more white-ish, I think. But it's like this mauvey, white purple. So that's the pictures they give. And this, I wonder if there's a color. It's called Violet Ring Neck. And it's so soft. I don't know what it's made of. It's 100% polyester. And it's a super bulky. So, and when I was looking at it, it reminded me a lot of what the Go for Faux looked like. So I bought that from my local yarn store, and she had such pretty colors. There was this this pinky salmon pink kind of color that I really liked, but there wasn't a yarn I thought would go great with it unless I wanted to use like white. And I'm not one for wearing anything with white just because I get it dirty so fast. So. But so there's this color, there was some more fur colored ones, there was that pink, there was this blue one that was also gorgeous, so they're all pretty. And she's had these for a while and I've been wanting to get them, or get one, but I didn't know what I wanted to make, so now I have an idea. And then I wanted to stick with a cotton yarn, or a cotton blend, because I think the one she was using was a cotton acrylic blend, which is what this one is. However, this one's a DK weight and the one she was using was worsted. So what I'll probably do is, because there's, just seeing, 250 yards, so I could probably split this skein in half and double strand it, which I think is what I'm gonna do, just because it'll make it nicer to wear in the winter too. If I need to, I'll just make the fluffy part bigger, and hopefully I should have enough to make a pom-pom. There's 71 yards in this, so we'll see. So to go with it, I bought this Cabin Fever yarn. It's a cotton tweed DK, 45% cotton, 55% acrylic. The color is silver. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it has some really nice flecks of like purple and orangey tweed. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can really see that look in there. You can kind of see it there. So I got this gray, or this silver, and I've used this yarn before and I love this yarn, so I bought some more, and I thought it would go really good together. I don't know, I can't really tell. It'll be hard to see because it's so fluffy. Squish it down. But the purple in this is similar to this, so I showed my mom and she thought it was great, so we'll see. I want to start this one really soon too. This will be my next project to start. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I want to start right now. Can you believe that? I can't think of anything else. Other than like my squares. I've been thinking about different patterns I might want to do in my squares, so. And then I bought a new measuring tape because I lose these like you wouldn't believe. So I decided to buy one. And it's really cute. It has flowers on it and stuff. So that's that. And yeah, those are my two acquisitions. Pretty excited. It's so funny because like I can't believe how excited I was to buy 2 skeins of yarn, because I've been on my little yarn diet kind of thing. But it feels really good too to chair keeps hitting my shelves. It feels really good to be using some of my stash and getting it out. Like, I know the Mary Maxim and stuff is coming too, but since I bought it with my mom, I didn't feel quite so bad, because who knows, the box might come and I might not like any of it. I doubt that would happen, but you never know. And the Leo and Roxy, I've always wanted to buy some of their yarn, and I have a lot of plans for using fingering weight yarn. I have a couple here I have to use, but there's always something I can make with that. So, and again, I can always share with my mom. I'm not opposed to that at all, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited about that. But yeah, and the feeling I had last night when finishing that blanket was, it was so nice, because that's been sitting there for a year kind of staring at me, wondering when I was going to finish it, and I finally finished it last night, and it felt very satisfying to be finished that. Now I just have to get it out of my house. sounds bad. But I really want to gift it to someone, and I have someone in mind. So they will be getting that at some point. But yeah, I thought there was something else I wanted to mention. You think I can remember? No, there's too much yarny goodness. I can't remember. I'll probably remember later. But yeah, you guys will definitely at least see. I'll share with you guys what I got from what I ordered. But I don't know when that'll be because the weather's been so the past couple weeks. So, it's so bugging me. I thought I had something to say. Anyway, okay. If I think about it, I'll tell you guys later. So yeah, that's all I have to talk about. Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.